Wow. So what a crazy series. So today we're looking at the Dallas Stars eliminating the Calgary Flames in 6 games up in Edmonton in the first round of this series. We'll take a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. And let's take a look at this first round matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. So going into this series, I was pretty excited. I mean, either way, I'm not really too much of a fan of Dallas or Calgary. Really, either way, I would have been happy with whoever won this series. But the Dallas Stars, give them credit. They did a great job in this series. We look back at game number 1, where you have the Calgary Flames defeating the Dallas Stars by the score of 3-2. Dylan Dubé goes off in this game. He gets 2 goals for the Calgary Flames in that first period. Denis Gurianov would be a factor in this series. He got on the board. Jamie Benn, and Rasmus Andersson would get the game winner with the last 5 minutes of the second period. That would be enough for the Calgary Flames as they win game number 1. Now we move on to game number 2, and the Dallas Stars get the momentum back, and they're able to come back and win this game. Dylan Dubé on the board in the first period again. Seems like he's the only guy that's on the ice in the first period. But Dylan Dubé gets a goal in the first period. Radulov Heiskanen gets 2. Derek Forbort gets 1. And Toby Reeder and Sam Bennett. Not to worry, though, because Jamie Alexiak gets the game winner, his second of the postseason. And the Dallas Stars win this game. A really solid game for the Dallas Stars. It was a back and forth for both sides. And the Calgary Flames, they played a pretty solid period. I mean, this was a pretty solid game. Face-off percentage, the Dallas Stars were winning the face-offs. The power play, both teams weren't really that effective. They both went 1 for 4 on the power play. The hits, there were plenty in this game. Just a great game overall. And you know what? Give the Dallas Stars credit for coming back. It didn't look so great at certain points in this game, but they kept fighting through. Jamie Alexiak, that's the guy, right? He got the game winner. So a great job there for the Dallas Stars. And then we move on to game 3, where the Calgary Flames reassert their momentum. The shots were 35-23 in favor of Dallas, but a 35-save shutout for the Calgary Flames was the difference. And Cam Talbot, what a game for Cam Talbot. 35-save shutout. Not too bad for the Calgary Flames. They needed him in this series if they wanted to have a chance, and he really shined in this game. Michael Backlund and TJ Brodie were the goal scorers for the Calgary Flames. The only goal scorers in this game, as the Dallas Stars were held off the score sheet, even with 35 shots. The Dallas Stars power play, really an issue in this game. Kind of reminds me of the New York Islanders, who we just talked about earlier today. The Dallas Stars power play goes 0 for 4 here in game 3. The good news is Calgary's power play wasn't too much better at 0 for 2, but still, they had 4 power plays. They go 1 for 8 in 2 games. That's not good enough in the Stanley Cup Playoffs for the Dallas Stars, something they have to look at moving forward in their second round series. Now we look at game number 4, where the Dallas Stars regain the momentum. They get an overtime victory, a 5-4 victory over the Calgary Flames. The Dallas Stars, 62 shots. 62 shots. Unbelievable. The fact that Cam Talbot only gave up 6 goals. Not too bad. Only 5 goals, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The scoring barrage. Joe Pavelski got things started. He actually got 2 this game. Denis Gurianov. Actually, Pavelski ends this game with a hat trick. He scores that goal late in regulation to tie things up for the Dallas Stars. They actually had one. They had a goal that was taken off in that final minute. Right before that, Pavelski comes back. The Dallas Stars stay focused. They're able to get that goal. They bring it to overtime. And who gets it done in overtime? Alexander Radulov, 16 minutes into overtime. And the Dallas Stars win game number 4, tying the series at 2. This was a momentum shift in the series for the Dallas Stars. We saw that happen as we move along here. So now we look at game number 5, where the Dallas Stars continue the momentum, a 2-1 victory over the Calgary Flames. In the first period, you see Jamie Benn get on the board, an assist from Tyler Seguin. Michael Backlund gets one as well. He looked pretty solid in this series for the Calgary Flames. Honestly, that whole line looked pretty solid for the Calgary Flames. in this series. And then the third period, John Klingberg gets his first of the postseason just over a minute into the third period. And the Dallas Stars, that's enough. They win the game 2-1. A solid performance. John Klingberg and Anton Khudobin played pretty well. A 28 save game for him. Stopped 28 of 29. Not too bad for Anton Khudobin. And then we move on to Game 6. And this is where the floodgates completely open and the Dallas Stars win the series. A 7-3 victory for the Dallas Stars. Definitely not the best game for Cam Talbot. The Dallas Stars only had 24 shots this game. They scored 7 goals. Just not a great effort at the end of the day for the Dallas Stars, but for the Calgary Flames, but that's just how it goes. Now, the funny thing is, we're looking at this game, right? The first period, it's Andrew Mangiapane, Johnny Gaudreau, and Rasmus Andersson getting the first 3 goals of the game, and the Dallas Stars are reeling here. They really did not look good in that first period. Luckily, Maro Heiskanen gets one at the end of the period, or halfway through the period, to kind of settle things down. It's a 3-1 game going into the second period. And we see Denis Gurianov go off. He scores 2 more, 2 in a row, his 3rd and 4th of the postseason, followed up by Radek Faksa and Joe Pavelski. And then it's just Denis Gurianov show the rest of the way. He picks up his 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th goals of the postseason. That's right, he scores 4 goals in this game. Denis Gurianov, man, looked really solid, and he is the first star of the game. Maro Heiskanen played very well. He got a goal and 3 assists. Not too bad for him. Joe Pavelski also picked up 3 points. And it was kind of a barrage here for the Dallas Stars. 41 shots against for the Calgary Flames, only able to put on 3 goals on Anton Khudobin. Power play. We talked about the power play being an issue earlier in this series for the Dallas Stars. Not the case in game number 6, as they go 2 for 2 on the power play. And that really could have been the difference maker in this series. And Denis Gurianov, man, he looked really good, not only in this series, but he was highlighted. He really highlighted that in this game. He doesn't score those 4 goals. It's a tie game at 3-3, right? So a very solid game for Denis Gurianov. And the Calgary Flames, unfortunately, are heading home once again in the first round. The second consecutive season they will be doing that. And the Dallas Stars, for the second consecutive season, will be going to the second round. So we'll see how things go here for the Dallas Stars. I like how they looked in this series. Hopefully Ben Bishop comes back sooner rather than later, but Anton Khudobin has been able to hold the zone, and the Dallas Stars are scoring. As long as they could score on the power play, I think the Dallas Stars will be okay in this year's playoffs, and they could go on a serious run this year. So we'll see how things work out for the Dallas Stars. Let me know in the comment section down below, not only talking about the Dallas Stars moving on to the second round, or maybe the upset Calgary Flame fans on what they have to do this offseason. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this format, me going through each game, talking about each game and who scored and little details here and there. Let me know if you like the format of that down in the comment section down below. Maybe I'll continue that for the rest of this year's playoffs. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.